guys, it's Ange. I'm just getting some stuff done around the house today, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit uh, about the food shortages, all the shortages. I didn't know if you've heard about them. Surely you have by now, but in case you haven't, I mean, I'm sure you've heard about all the container ships off of the West Coast out there just sitting there not getting unloaded, and people are worried about getting Christmas presents and stuff on time. It's easy to just say buy American, but you know there's a lot of stuff that's not made in America, or all the parts aren't made in America anymore. So you know, you got to think about that. But what I'm worried about are the food shortages, the fuel shortages that they keep saying are going to happen this winter. So I don't know if you've ever thought much about preparedness or putting stuff up for a rainy day, things like that. But I like to do that here. I would like to have a huge garden. I will show you that another time. It was a big disaster. Well, I have 2 acres here, but anything that doesn't get mowed regularly is full of wild, prickly wild blackberries. They're the bane of my existence. I think they're even more invasive than bamboo, if that's possible. It's a big struggle. Anyway, so I have just my little raised bed out there, but I need to really work on bigger, more food production at home. So if you've never grown a garden, I feel urgently you're just about out of time to learn, because it's not like you just drop the seed in the ground and throw some water on it and you have veggies. It's hard, there's weeds, there's bugs, critters, weather, there's lots of things that go wrong in a garden, and if you've never done it before, you don't know that. So anyway, I'm practicing right now in my little garden up here to grow stuff into the fall and see how far I can grow into the winter with a row cover on it and make like a low tunnel. So I'm experimenting now with that, because we're gonna need to grow our own food all year round, which it's fun, but then you can grow organically if you want to. You know what's been done to it, who's been touching it, what's in it, you know. I kind of like that part of it. Plus, it's always amazing to see a little tiny seed turn into a huge plant with all this food on it. I love it. I think it's so exciting. That's why after all the failures and all the troubles, I keep going at it anyway, because it makes me happy anyway. So, but if you're not already knowing how to grow your own garden, or not already growing stuff, you need to stock up in other ways. You can learn to do canning. You can freeze stuff. I have a vacuum sealer and I freeze stuff like that. But if the power goes out, because they're talking about fuel shortages this winter, if the power goes out, your freezer might fail and then you would lose all that food. So my preferred way is canning. It's not hard, it's not scary, it's really time consuming. There's a lot of steps and takes a lot of time, but it's worth it, because then that food can sit up in those jars for years and still be good. The power goes out, it's okay, food's still good. There was canning jar shortages this summer and last summer. It was hard to find canning jars. So I've gotten almost all of mine at yard sales. I think the best deal I got was like 40 some jars, fresh out of the lady's dishwasher for $1. And then it was hard to get, the canning jars have the flat part and then the ring. It's hard to find the flat parts, and you can only use those one time unless you get the reusable ones. I think they have Harvest Right is a brand, and Tatler. I haven't tried them yet. I've ordered some of the Harvest Right ones, so I'll give them a try and see how they do. And then if you don't have a garden, there's no veggies at the farmer's market because it's getting cold now. It's fall, it's November. A lot of stuff's not in season anymore. Just stock up on what's at the store while you can. I don't know if you've noticed, if you've been to a Dollar General or a Dollar Tree lately, I'm not picking on the dollar stores because I go there a lot. I think a lot of their stuff comes from China or other countries, because those shelves are bare. They'll be like, on the hanging wall, I noticed, where there's like, 5 poles this way and 5 or 6 poles this way, and it used to be all different kinds of toothbrushes and stuff like that. Now that's like empty, and they have the same toothbrush hanging here, 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 here. You know, they're spreading stuff out like on a shelf instead of like a row of canned peaches, a row of pears, a row of oranges. Now it's like one row deep, but like this way, it's 5, 6 cans of peaches this way, just to take up shelf space. And I've been noticing that a lot at Walmart too. Food Lion some. I live in North Carolina, so that's the stores we have around here. Aldi, I think, has still been pretty good. Well, that's the toaster oven. Anyway, so there's been shortages and there's going to be shortages. So I think it would be wise to stock up on some canned goods. I know they're like my least favorite thing to eat. I prefer fresh foods than frozen, like frozen vegetables. I think taste better than canned veggies. But you know, you get what you get. The canned veggies can last a long time. Put up some oatmeal, flour, sugar, yeast, baking soda, baking powder, so you can make bread. You know how everyone made their own bread when the quarantine lockdown started a year or so ago? It got hard to find yeast at that time because everybody was making bread. So just try to think ahead of the things you're going to need. If you don't already cook at home, which I know a lot of people don't, I didn't used to. If you don't already cook at home, you might struggle, so I would recommend trying to cook at least your suppers at home just to start and get used to cooking it, and get some cookbooks that help you cook from scratch, because you're going to need to know that kind of stuff, I think. If things get short, as they say, and things get tight, you're going to need to know that kind of stuff, and I'm just trying to look out for you guys. So another thing, there's because of fuel shortages, now there's fertilizer shortages, which is going to lead to food shortages, like wheat and grain shortages. So just go ahead and stock up on some pasta now. Vacuum seal it, you know, so the critters don't get to it. Put it in a plastic tote or something. All this kind of stuff you have to keep inside. That's my other favorite way, is vacuum sealing. I vacuum seal rice, beans, dried beans. Will last forever, like forever, as long as no critters get in them. So I store them in the house. I have one of my spare bedrooms. I have like a shelving rack in there with extra stuff on it. You know, it's my pantry.